If you're looking to buy or invest in a real estate project yourself, like imagine the power of taking this deal and bringing and asking Grant Cardone and his team. Like, I felt stupid. He completely crushed me. The prices started going down. And obviously he destroyed the whole deal. But what I learned is the past 4 days I've been at Grant Cardone's headquarters. It was 2 different events. Each event was 2 days. One event, it was a Bring Your Deal workshop. So basically what it is I'm part of Grant Cardone's private real estate club. So when you're part of that private real estate club, and then what you get is that you get an inside education from himself, Grant Cardone, that teaches you about everything about the real estate, everything that you need to from A to Z. And we're talking about commercial multifamily real estate where you invest in apartment complexes. We have weekly meetings with him and his team. He tells us like what's going on in the market, like what's happening, what changed. And then at the same time, there's like all these members in the club. They share their experiences as well. What was the win for them or something that challenge they're experiencing and how they have overcome that. And then at the same time, typically it's 2, 3, or 4 people bring their own deals. So it's those that looking for the deals to buy themselves. There's different ways. One, they just bring the deal to pitch to us. So to look for other investors who wants to come into the partnership, into this deal. Second way, they're bringing the deal to get the feedback from everyone in the club, and then obviously from Grant Cardone himself. When I signed up to be part of this club, I already been an investor in some of the deals, thinking that the knowledge that I have from my old real estate background is enough. But what I learned is once I started going through this education, because before I didn't invest never in this commercial multifamily, I realized that what I know is that I don't know. And this is when I started, joining, participating in these meetings, asking the questions. And the thing is like, the more you ask, the better you get at it. Here's the secret, I'll tell you. At the beginning, I felt stupid because I thought that I know everything, but it turned out that I don't. With his team, we went for the private dinner after the workshop. So they invited me because I've been already part of this club for 2 years, and I also invest with Grant Cardone. I told Ryan, I said in the beginning, I remember when I went on the stage to pitch my deal, and then he completely crushed me. What I mean by crushed me is that he started asking me all these questions, and obviously he destroyed the whole deal. And I remember I was so upset back then. I was literally so upset. But now it's 2 years later, what I know today, looking back, and I told him that at the dinner, I said, thank you so much that you did this. Because that knowledge that I have today, and if I would have actually buy that and make that investment, I would have lost the investment, I would lose the money, and that's the last thing that you want to do. Grant has philosophy, he is very disciplined, and his philosophy, he only invests into multifamily, commercial. It has to be a big project. So his philosophy that you need to invest over 36 units. So the more units you have, the less risk you have. You're kind of spreading up your risk. Recently, me and my husband, we were introduced to the development. There's a land. You build, you develop this commercial multifamily, and then you start generating cash flow by renting them out. You want to buy stabilized property, meaning that you want to buy property that already generates cash flow. You don't want to wait for 2-3 years to get your cash. You want to start receiving this right away. This was some of the questions is, what's the risk, if it makes sense. Getting into this right now, the reason why you would do this is because you want to get at the wholesale price, kind of the building. On the other hand, are you actually getting it at the wholesale price? Because what's happening right now in the market is because the interest rate is very high, then the prices started going down. So then we're already buying today at the wholesale price. This workshop, there was about 20 deals. I think there was one or two deals for the land development, some storages, some single. There was different deals, small deals, big deals. There was one deal that he liked. Other than that, he didn't like any. So this kid, he's 25 years old. So he found the property. I think it was 24 units. The reason it made sense and he liked the deal is the owner. She's an old lady, so she wants to get rid of this property. She wants to sell that, so there's no debt on it, there's no mortgage. So basically, some of the ideas that he gave to this guy is that, which, you know, would make sense, is since she's selling this property with no mortgage, then why don't you ask her for the owner's financing? So if you can get owner's financing from her today, so first of all, you're paying a low interest rate. If you can get, let's say, from her 5% versus getting from the bank 7%, you're already making 2%. Here's another way. So I think the property, if I remember correctly, it was like, I think like about $2 million. He came out and he was pitching the deal. He needed the money to put for the down payment, and then the rest is to put the debt on it, or maybe get the investors to raise the whole $2 million. But in reality, if you're working with the owner who has no debt, what you actually can do is, yes, you can ask them for the owner's financing, or you can even do it differently. You can say, okay, you know what? I'll give you, let's say, like $200,000. I'll pay you like every month $8,000. So let's say the $8,000 will just go towards the interest until like I decide to pay for the whole property. So the great idea of this whole thing is that you don't even need $2 million. You just need to come up with $200,000, and for $200,000, you're getting the whole property. So right now, for those, whoever is looking to invest into real estate, and then especially, you know, to buy the American dream, the house, that's the prediction that in the next 2 years, there'll be a lot of deals coming up. Obviously, again, we're just predicting because the election is coming up. So that's still uncertainty who is going to be the president. Why? Because that's all going to depend on the interest rate. If the interest rate goes down, then the prices for the real estate starts going up. And then obviously there's a more demand. And then this demand draws the prices even more higher and higher. If the rate is going to stay the same, or it's going to little by little maybe like, you know, fluctuate up, down, up, down. So basically in the next 2 years, there's going to be a lot of deals coming into the market. Why? First of all, right now, there is not too much of the supply. Everyone wants to sell at the high prices, but they cannot sell at the high prices. So that's why only selling those that are desperate to sell. So let's say like if it's like individual single family, so apartments, let's say like typically it's like someone who experiences financial situation, someone who lost a job, someone maybe like relocating or divorced. So like you desperate, then you sell. The most important one is always do your homework. You know, don't listen to your brother, your sister, mother, father, your neighbor. And, you know, typically that's what happened. And I'll tell you that I used to be like that too. I remember when I made the bold decision during COVID. So I'm a COVID refugee from New York to Florida. So I made this, actually tomorrow it's going to be exactly 4 years when I told my husband, that's it, you know, drive me to Florida and I'm not coming back from New York. So I made a bold decision to sell everything and start investing in this multifamily. And obviously, you know, my friends, my family, like everyone that I know, my clients, they were saying, oh, you like, why are you doing? Why are you selling this? It's not right. You're losing money. At that moment, I was feeling, oh my God, like everyone is telling me, probably I'm not right. But now that I can tell you again, looking back where I am today, like if I would have listened to them, and this is typically majority, that's what we do. We listen to someone else instead of listening to the experts. So I'm actually grateful that I did my homework, that I learned, I studied, that I became part of Grant Cardone Real Estate Club, and I listened to the educated person who has this knowledge, not just knowledge because, you know, he just thinks because like everyone else does this in the community, but he actually has the physical knowledge because he invests, he's in real estate, and the knowledge is based on the experience. Another one would be like, there's always so many opportunities. So just go there and constantly communicate, network with others. I met one of the guys that we started talking, and then we went to dinner after the event. He shared with me such an interesting story, and it's so inspiring. He's a young guy, I think he's 33 years old. A few months ago, he did the same thing after the event. He went to the, he went to the bar to network. And then as he was sitting there networking with someone, there was another guy sitting there and they started talking. And then now 2 months later, guess what? Now they're in partnership together. So basically the idea is it's not what you know, it's who you know. So, get yourself out there and get to know people, communicate, because just by sitting and like not going and putting yourself out there into these situations, because you never know at which point who you're gonna meet. The third thing is don't assume that you know everything. That's kind of another biggest takeaway. If you heard this concept, like there's like that much of like what you know that you know, then that much what you know that you don't know, and there's like all this like 97% of what you don't know that you don't know. So, that's why put yourself out there, educate yourself, get together with those that already experienced, have the wisdom that actually achieved what you want to achieve, and then just have them as your mentors and follow their footsteps.